Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the FootballMartin channel. And tonight we're going to be previewing a massive game that takes place for Southampton Football Club this weekend. I'm going to be joined by some very special guests. I do a lot of TikTok and we do a lot of TikTok lives, but I wanted to bring some content to YouTube, to my YouTube page where I do a lot of matchday vlogs. I'm going to be at the game on Sunday, so be creating some fan-led content. But tonight is all about previewing the big game at the weekend. I'm going to introduce to you my guests this evening. I've got Rusty SFC joining me. I've got Ethan from SFC Vlogs. And I've got Rod's SFC joining me as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Rusty, where can people find you? To let everybody know, where can they find you?
TikTok. TikTok's the place to find me. We are at Rusty SFC. We're on the hunt for the live at the moment. So yeah, we're getting there.
Make sure you go and give Rusty a follow over on TikTok. We do loads of TikTok lives and content together regularly on a week-to-week basis. And with the playoffs coming up, you need to be making sure you give us all a follow. I'm going to introduce Rods. Rods, where can everybody find you as well, mate? Let everybody know.
Yeah, I'm over on TikTok as well, Rods SFC. If you want to give me a follow there, we'll do content there. Sometimes do live content as well with the guys. So you can find me over on there.
Thank you for joining me tonight, mate. And finally, I have SFC Vlogs with me. Ethan, thank you very much for joining me. Many of you will be familiar with Ethan. He creates matchday vlog content. Mate, thank you for joining.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Where can everybody find you? Where can everybody find you?
You can find me all over the place. X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, sorry. And that's just Saints FC Vlogs for everything, so...
Guys, thank you for joining me. Ethan, thank you. Make sure you give Ethan a follow. Some unbelievable content that he does on match days as well. All us guys, we meet up at games. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Trying to build my community. You will see us at St Mary's a lot. We always meet up before games, after games, and we're always talking about the Saints and performances. It's been quite the season for the Saints. We've made the playoffs. Rusty, if you had been offered the playoffs at the start of the season, would you have taken it?
I think I wasn't doing TikTok at the time when it started, but I think if my season predictions would have probably seen Leicester and Leeds go up automatically, and always felt like the playoffs was probably the more likely for us. That honestly, I just thought that they had more established squads, and we were still making something work. So yeah, I would have taken it for sure.
What about you, Rods? Would you have taken fourth place in the playoffs at the start of the season? Russell Martin come in, he lost a lot of players, had to rebuild the squad. Would you have taken it?
I think I would have taken it as a minimum. I mean, I think some people would have said minimum would have been automatics, wouldn't they? I think most people would have gone with. But I think like Leicester weren't ready to come down. I think if they kept Brendan Rodgers, they would have stayed in the Premier League. So yeah, quite an established squad with them. Again, Leeds really strong. So yeah, I think I would have taken it at the start.
Ethan, you've been vlogging Southampton for a good few seasons now. You follow everything that's going on. How do you feel about the playoffs? Ipswich pipped us to that second place. Obviously, Leicester have had a really good season as well. It's been an exceptional year in the Championship, isn't it? How are you feeling about the season? That what we've achieved to get a playoff place?
I think it's brilliant. I mean, going back to the question, I would have taken playoffs at the start of the season. You've seen this is definitely the strongest the Championship's been in a long time. But I mean, if we stay down here for another season, it's not the end of the world. I think it would be good for us. I mean, yes, we would lose the likes of Downs, Taylor Harwood-Bellis, probably even Ryan Fraser. But I mean, I'll take it. I mean, it's going to be tough on Sunday, but anything can happen. It's the playoffs, so.
Yeah, the playoffs are here. Don't think I've ever been so nervous around a football game in all my life. It's the biggest week probably for the football club. I was thinking back today actually, and looking back, it's probably the biggest game since Swansea away. Gabardini, I think it was the anniversary yesterday when Gabardini scored that goal at Swansea, which kept us in the Premier League. It feels as big as that moment, Rusty. You on the same page as me?
Yeah, mate. I think in footballing terms, Southampton don't get many things to cheer about. That's the sad truth of being a Southampton fan, is we don't often get weeks like this. So we should definitely make the most of it and enjoy it for what it is, and just try and get behind everyone now.
Yeah, no, we do. We absolutely have to get behind everyone. We finished off in a perfect style, didn't we? Really, we obviously not been in the greatest of forms of recent weeks, Rods, but we finished off with a victory in our final league game of the season at Ellen Road. Were you surprised at the result and how well we actually played as well? Because I thought we were superb. For me, it was probably one of the best results of the season. I was at the Total Saints podcast live last night in Eastleigh, and Galenda Declaw, he said actually he thought it was it was one of the best games of the season for him, because it was so vital not to get beaten on the weekend, but to play the way we did and pretty much play Leeds off the park for long periods of that game.
Yeah, I did fantastic up at Leeds, to be fair, on the final day. I thought the way that Martin switched tactics around and we had Flynn up front a bit more, I thought gave us a bit of a new attacking dynamic to our game. Hopefully he can switch it around in the playoffs, a bit something different again, maybe to get us over the line. I thought it was a very, very good game from us. We played really, really well. I think we definitely deserved to win. I agree with that.
Ethan, we were good, weren't we? I thought we played well. There's some exceptional performances as well. We spoke a lot about a plan B, that Russell hasn't had a plan B. Do you think he's finally found a plan B, Ethan, now with what he did?
I think he has. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I will admit I didn't watch the game live because I was out, so I didn't actually get to watch it. But I mean, watching the highlights, it definitely did look like he has established that plan B. He's pushed people more attacking, as Rusty said. Flynn Downs was pushing up a little bit more, and it looked to work. And I mean, if it's going to work in the playoffs, I mean, you've got to go for it, because West Brom won't be an easy game.
No, I agree. I think West Brom's... Russell spoke today in his press conference about it being they were the best of the rest, Rusty, West Bromwich Albion. Do you feel the same?
No, I don't actually, because you kind of come to expect this from West Brom. This is kind of their bread and butter, really. West Brom, Norwich, if they don't make playoffs or be nearer the top end of the table, it's a bad season for them. So I think that's almost a little bit insulting for a West Brom side that are competitive. They're not going to be an easy game for us, for sure. They're probably better suited to a two-legged tie than we are, I think. But I think that's a little bit insulting to say, honestly.
Yeah, Rods, what about you? Did you feel that West Brom were one of the best of the rest that Russell called it today?
I mean, like I said, I agree with Rusty. How this is not West Brom's first playoff rodeo, is it? They've been there before. They know what it's about. I think they've got a few players that probably have a lot more experience than our players do. Legged playoff and a final as well. So you know what I mean? So it's going to be a very, very tough game over 2 legs. It's going to be very tough. Like they are a competitive team. They nearly got a point at us down at St Mary's. So yeah, it is going to be a tough game.
They were they did. They were good at St Mary's. I've got a little snippet actually to bring to you from the press conference today from Russell Martin. Here it is.
Yeah, they've been good. They've been really, really good. So everyone spoke about the top 4 and how difficult that race was, and then they've been the best all season of the rest of the league. They've given us 2 really tough games. Carlos, I think, is a really brilliant coach. They have experienced Premier League players, really experienced Championship players, physical, strong, powerful, with a really well coached and organised, and can do both sides of the game really, really well, with the ball and without it. So it's a tough game. But I think if you get into the playoffs in the Championship, I don't think you expect anything else, right? It's going to be a tough game, a tough place to go. We played brilliantly there this season, and if we can reach those levels of performance again, I'll be very happy. Yeah, they've been good.
He's right, isn't he, Ethan? They give us two really good games this season, but we were brilliant, weren't we, when we went to the Hawthorns early on this season? It was just after our 25 unbeaten game run. We went and lost to Bristol City, which we were surprised about. We looked at the two games. There was two games in the space of 4 days. We played Bristol City on the Tuesday and West Bromwich Albion on the Friday. I always thought that the Bristol City game was the easier of the two. We lost that, but we went to West Brom and we were outstanding that night, weren't we? Like Russell said.
Yeah, I was there. I mean, it was brilliant. I mean, it's the first real chance we got to see it. David Brooks, and he was very, very good when he came on. Obviously, scored the goal. And I also think what helped us was their manager getting sent off really, really early on. That obviously gave Martin that advantage. And I kind of disagree with what Russell said. I mean, they were very good when they came to us, but I think without their manager, when we played them at their place, they weren't the strongest, and we're very more dominant.
No, I think you're absolutely right. West Brom, there's a few statistics from this. So I've got a little bit of a stat pack. I'll read out as we go, and you guys can chip in on it. West Brom have lost 7 of the last 8 meetings with Southampton in all competitions. They've won 1, losing both meetings with us in the regular season. Rusty, losing both those games to us in the regular season, do you think that counts for anything going into this playoff game at the weekend and next Friday? Do you think that's just written off because it's almost like it is a cup final now?
Yeah, the season's done now, isn't it? That's the reality. The regular season is finished. Everyone will take their teams away and sit down and be like, right, that's all done. That's behind us. Now it's 2 games, potentially 3 games to be in the Premier League, and that's what they should be doing anyway. I think as a player, it holds a little bit. It'll hold a little bit of weight with you because no one wants to get beat. They're professional sportsmen, but yeah, the manager will be doing his best to sort of remind everyone that none of that it's all meaningless now. What happened up until these 2 games? So yeah.
Rod, he spoke, Russell, in his press conference there about Carlos Corberán. He's a very good manager, tactically very switched on as well. I'm not sure that we'll be able to go there at the weekend and necessarily set up like we did before, because he may have just sussed out what we're all about. Do you think that Corberán will be? He's a shrewd manager, isn't he? Do you think he'll have something up his sleeve for Southampton?
Yeah, he'll definitely have a plan to get West Brom over the line. I think he's going to, being at home in the first leg, they got to go for it, haven't they? They've got to be attacking. They've got to take the game to us, and they've just got to try and keep a clean sheet, haven't they? It's not an away goals, is it? But I think they don't want to concede any goals to us. So, but also they've got to go for it. So it's going to make an interesting game. I'm hoping, if worst case scenario, we come away with a draw, and then hopefully, second leg at home, we can, go at them and hopefully get a win. But I think he's gonna go for it. The West Brom manager, he has to, being at home first.
Their home form's good, Ethan. Like Rod said, I think they've won 15 home games in the regular Championship season. So like us, we have good home form. I think both games for the home sides are massive, aren't they? If we could go there and get something at the weekend, which I feel we could do, do you think that would set us up perfectly for the home leg? Do you think for West Brom they really need to win the game on the weekend, or do you think they'd be happy to try and get something and bring it to St Mary's, even if it was a draw? Because they don't travel quite as well, West Brom, do they?
No, they don't. I mean, I don't know what their travelling was like when they came to our place, but I don't think it was amazing. But it all depends. I mean, we can't afford a penalty shootout, because I saw something on X a couple of days ago, like who would our 5 penalty takers be? And it all does depend on if West Brom come firing at us. I mean, obviously they will, because they want to try and hold us back as much as possible.
No, I totally agree. What do you think about West Brom's home form, Rusty? They've been really good at home, but then so have we. Do you think it's going to be about what each of us do in our home legs? Or do you think it would be almost, if Southampton could be really shrewd and go away and get something, it would just put us in a great position for the return leg?
Well, I think it's a staple of West Brom's style of football. If you look historically at home, they've never been mugs really. Even when they were in the Premier League, it was always a difficult place to go to. I think it's probably more a case of we'll score a goal. Away from home, we've scored. I think we've only had one goalless game this season, I believe.
Yeah. Mm.
So it's likely that is how many. I think it's more a case of how many can they stop us scoring and stay in the game. As long as they're in the tie, then it's going to be hard for us. If we can sort of run away, then it's fine. But yeah, if it's only like a 1-1 coming back to our place, I think it still favours us. But yeah, I think we just got to hit the ground running, get in early, get in hard, early goal, just settle everything down, and then sort of run it up from there.
Yeah, you would have seen on my ticker at the start of the show, Russell Martin did give an update today actually on Shay Adams. He said he's been monitored ahead of the West Brom first leg game. He did give that update that he said that he hopes that he'll be okay and ready to impact the game at the weekend, Rods. How important do you think it is that Shay Adams is fit? Because we don't have a huge amount of options up front. Yes, we've got Ross Stewart coming back, but he's never ready to start a game. For the people that are shouting for him to start, he's never ready to start a game. And he won't, even if we play the 3 games here, there's no danger that he starts any game, is there, Ross Stewart? Shay Adams is vital, isn't he?
He's a massive part of the team. It's going to be really difficult if he's not fit. And if he's not starting, it's going to be very, very difficult for us there. I thought he was fantastic against Leeds. He did pretty much decided the game Leeds. Yeah, he's so vital for us. And like I said, Ross Stewart, I mean, he's been injured all season. He's not match fit, is he? Like, it's just, he's not there, is he? Pretty much. It's going to be so difficult not having Shay. So he needs to be fit, hopefully.
Boy, I hope he is fit. Ethan, there's been no imagery of him much at all in the videos in the build up to this weekend from the Southampton media team. Very little. There's no photography of him. He's not been in any of the videos. Do you think there's a few mind games being played between the two managers? Corberan's come out and said that Southampton are the favourites here big time, which they probably are. But do you think there's a few mind games being played?
Definitely is. I mean, I think him and Russell and Carlos have a lot of anger, and obviously they have so much desire to win. And I wouldn't go against it if there was mind games. I mean, obviously Leicester did it a couple of weeks ago, saying that Dewsbury Hall wouldn't be fit, and obviously he was. But yeah, I definitely think Shay will be available. I mean, I don't know what his injury was for the weekend, but I do think it is mind games.
Yeah, no, I think it's potentially mind games. Rusty, Neil Warnock said a couple of weeks ago after our defeat, he was on Sky Sports Football for the game as a pundit, and he said that after that defeat, Russell needed to take his players out for an Indian, go and have a Chinese. I think he said it was a Chinese, and he got to take the boys for a Chinese. Well, Russell did take the boys out this week. He took him somewhere a little bit more healthier. He said, I believe it was very close to where I live, actually. Can't confirm it, but I think they were potentially on the Isle of Wight on Tuesday. They got everyone together that are in and around the football, all the players, the owners. Russell's trying to bring everyone together. He said if Neil Warnock gives advice like that, he's got to listen to him. Correct to do so, wasn't he?
I think they done it. It's been a tough season for sure. And B, it probably has by way of a little bit of an apology too. Like, Russell Martin, what he's done very well this season is he's rode the highs very, very well. But when he's made decisions that have impacted or backfired on the pitch and resulted in a bad run of results, etc., he's worn that very well too. He hasn't ever shied away from anything, which is good. And also, I believe Ross Stewart is match fit. If you want my honest opinion, I think he's being held back, and he's played a lot. He said about Larios, he wouldn't be able to get enough minutes. If it was a few weeks, he wouldn't be able to get enough minutes in Larios before the playoffs, so he wouldn't be able to get him ready. But he always believed he'd have enough time to get minutes into Ross Stewart. So I do believe he's match fit to start, maybe not, but if he was needed, I think that there'd be enough minutes in his legs, I think.
Yeah, do you think Ross Stewart could play a really big impact in these playoffs, Ethan? Do you think can you see him scoring? I put a poll out on my TikTok the other day. Did anyone see him scoring in the next two games? I think he will. I just have this feeling. I think he's going to be absolutely choking at a bit. I think if he gets his opportunity, which he will do, because Shea never plays 90 minutes, does he? We've seen him come off after the 60, 70, 75-minute mark. Ross Stewart will get some game time on in these next two games.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know what his performance was like at Leeds again. But obviously the glimpse we got of him at home, he looked all right when he came on. Just really hope he can find the back of the net. Hopefully at Wembley, obviously what he did for Sunderland a couple of years ago, be really, really good to have that again, but in a Saints shirt.
Yeah, it was incredible. I watched the Sunderland Till I Die documentary, and they raved about him, Rods, up at Sunderland. I don't know if you've seen it. Some of the goals that he scored were really good. He's tall. He's got a lovely touch about him. I thought he looked really good when he came on at the weekend. For someone that's tall Paul took a lot of criticism because his touch was not great. But this lad looks like he's the real deal to me.
Yeah. I think he's from what we've seen of him this season, he does look like a really good player for us. Is something that we need. A goal scorer, tall, so he can win headers from corners, set pieces. Really fantastic player. I hope he's definitely going to feature. I think there's no doubt about that. Like I said, Shea doesn't get 90 minutes, like you said. So, I'm expecting Stewart to make a cameo, definitely.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Another player that I want to talk about, a player that's come into the team. Russell had to make a really big decision, Rusty, around the goalkeeping situation. I had that home game against Preston, I think it was, when Gavin got injured in the warm-up. Big moment. Joe Lumley signed a new contract not that many weeks ago. He'd been our second choice all season. He played the cup games. And out of the cold, in come Alex McCarthy. How do you feel he's done since he's come into the side? Do you feel safe with Alex in goal? Do you think the experience that he brings is going to be vital in these two big games?
I think with Maka, you kind of always, the good thing about him is you know what you're going to get. There's not really any surprises from Maka. I think actually say that's a lie. I think there was a surprise against Leeds where he actually controlled a ball, took a touch and then passed it, which he never does. That was the first time I think I'd ever seen him sort of get involved in a build up like that. He normally just lumps it away. So it was quite nice to see him do something different. And he did actually look as if he'd spent a little bit more time working on his footwork through the last few weeks. There was something a little bit different there in his game. But I think honestly, what he'll give you is he'll be very solid, and that experience, you can't buy experience. It doesn't matter how long. I mean, I know Baz has been a senior goalkeeper, first team choice goalkeeper since he was like 18, but we're talking about real experience, done it at every single level. That's something you cannot buy. You cannot buy.
So right, Rod, isn't he? Alex McCarthy, been there, seen it, done it. He's got England caps. He's played in the Premier League at the highest level. Do you think Russell made the right choice bringing him in over Joe Lumley when he did?
Yeah, I mean, I think to be fair, he's done a good job coming in, doing his job, what he's meant to be doing. Like Rusty said, he can switch it round. We've seen that. Being able to play from the back, he can do that. I think he's been for us over the years, definitely. I think, I don't know, I think Rusty might have a bit with this about his distribution, but I think before, I think there was times where he would kick it out of play sometimes. He'd throw it out of play, would never reach a player sometimes. This is like the beginning of like when we had him in goal. But I feel like since, up to now, I feel like his distribution is a lot better.
Yeah, no, I do as well. Ethan, what's your thoughts on the goalkeeping situation? We need a shot stopper, that's for sure, don't we? We certainly will do in these two big games.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I really feel bad for Lumley. Obviously, signing that new contract, thinking he would get game time if obviously Baz went off injured, which obviously he did. But obviously, Dean Thornton, the goalkeeper coach, obviously saw something in McCarthy that thought, oh, well, he deserves to play over Lumley. And I feel like McCarthy hasn't really done much wrong. I mean, there's questions you could say, as again with his distribution, but I feel like, as Rusty said, he did improve a lot in the Leeds game.
No, I totally agree. So we started talking about players and let's start talking about the team, how we potentially set up at the weekend. Do you believe that he selects the same side, Rusty, that he started with at the weekend against Leeds, or do you think there will be changes to that side? Do you think he'd throw a spanner in the works? Obviously, there's certain people that you cannot leave off that team sheet right now for me. But do you think he mixes it up slightly?
It's difficult, because I know pretty much everyone saw that lineup as a plan B. I sadly didn't. I saw it as a last-ditch effort to shoehorn in players that he's been trying to figure out how to get all of them on the pitch at the same time. That being those three centre-backs. How did he ever get that working without ever playing? Well, how was that the first time he played three at the back?
Yeah.
He's been trying to get all of them in at the same time. Honestly, I think what we see is he'll stick to what he knows, and that variation will be for if he needs something different, that's his something different. That's my thoughts. I think that 4-3-3 that we've been playing, although that does handcuff Flynn Downs a little bit. So it's what he wants from the team in terms of physicality and aggression, which he talks about all a lot. And I think to do that, he probably needs those three centre backs, Flynn to be a little bit more free. And yeah, it was good to watch that Leeds game, the way we went about things, and I'd like to see more of that.
Rod, do you see any major changes from Saturday on Sunday? Do you think Ryan Manning keeps his place at left back?
I think Manning keeps his
left wing back even.
Yeah, I think Manning keeps his place. Yeah, I mean the formation could change. He did it up at Leeds, so he's got a second option, hasn't he? So I think maybe keeping Flynn further forward as well definitely helps us. I think gives us a bit of change. I don't think there's going to be too many player changes in the starting lineup. I think he might keep the same as the Leeds game going into the first leg.
Rod's touched on Flynn Downs there, Ethan. He was absolutely superb at the weekend. I thought he was brilliant. The first goal was all about Flynn mopping up, keeping it alive. And he's vital to Southampton. Russell's come out and said when he's not been fit, we haven't been able to replace him. He'd definitely start the weekend. There's no doubt about that. He's vital for us. Do you see any other changes for you, Ethan, in the starting 11 at the weekend?
No, I mean, going back to Ryan Manning, I thought he's phenomenal. He's so much better than James Bree at that fullback role. That's either on the right or the left. No, I don't think he will do much unless Shea obviously is out injured. I think he'll push Armour up into that striker and maybe have probably Brooks and probably Fraser, I would imagine, out on the wing. But for some reason, he'll probably chuck a Dozy in there. And you know my thoughts on the Dozy. So
it will be interesting to see. Right, I want to get some score predictions now. I want to talk about transfer news at the end of the show. But I want to get some score predictions for this weekend's game. What I'd quite like to do is do a score prediction for the first leg from all of you. And then maybe we could reconvene sort of like middle of next week, maybe Wednesday next week, and preview the game on Friday, but also look back and reflect upon the game on Sunday. We have no idea how it's going to unravel. We can look back on it, pull it all apart, and then we can obviously give our score predictions for the final leg as well. So Rusty, I'm going to kick off with you. What's your score prediction for the weekend's game? I want your score prediction. I want your goal scorers as well.
Well, I think I've done all right predicting games.
You've been very good at it, to be fair.
Yeah, I may have just cursed myself slightly by saying that, but I'm gonna say 2-1 Southampton in the first leg.
That would be nice.
I think in terms of goal scorers, I think we'll see Armstrong. I think Armstrong will score Do you know what? Armstrong's going to score both of them. They're going to bag a brace.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Boy, Ryan Scott's gone with 3-0. Shea, Armour and Fraser. Rods, your score prediction?
I'm going to say it's going to be a very tight game. I'm going to say if we win it, I'm going to go with 2-1 as well. Southampton, if we do win it. If I'm going to go for a 1, if we draw, I'm going to go for a 1-1. And if West Brom win, I'm going to go 1-0 West Brom.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. Ethan, I know you've got to go very shortly. Before you go, thank you for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. What's your score prediction, mate?
Oh, well, as I've always said, head says we're gonna lose, and my heart says we're gonna win. I hate to be the doubter, but I mean the Hawthorns has been a very, very good place for West Brom this season. And I'm going to be the doubter. I'm going to say we're going to lose 1-0. I'm sorry if I'm not confident, but
no, you're honest, Ethan. Thank you very much, guys. Make sure you go check out Ethan at SSE Vlogs. He's a brilliant content creator. Ethan, will you join us again next week and pull apart this game at the weekend and then look ahead to Friday?
Oh, definitely, yeah, 100%.
Brilliant. You've been a great guest, mate. So thank you for coming on. You can jump out whenever you're ready, mate. No worries at all. So thank you very much.
Take care, bud.
For coming on. A massive shout out to Ethan. Right, gents, that gives a score prediction other than mine. So I think it's going to be really, really tight, to be honest. Do you know what? I remember the playoffs last time round. Derby was at home in the first leg. I think we lost 1-0 at home in the first leg. I don't think we lose this. I think we'll have too much for West Brom. A lot of the pundits are saying that as well. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Southampton win on Sunday. I'm going to go with Shea Adams and Adam Armstrong to score for me. That's my prediction. Guys, another big game between Norwich and Leeds. How do you see that one unravelling, Rusty? It's an interesting encounter, really. Leeds are really out of form. Obviously, Norwich have been fairly decent up until now. They lost on the final day against Birmingham. Goalkeeper in form in Angus Gunn. How do you see this one unfolding?
I think over both legs, I think Norwich are going to smash them. If you want me to be completely honest, I think the pressure is so much higher for Leeds than it will be for Norwich. And Norwich are just, didn't Russell Martin go up through the playoffs with Norwich? Like that, that's what they do.
He did.
So I think it's one of the best business models in football. 2 years in the Premier League, get relegated, couple of years back up, and just that money that they get must be crazy. They're professional parachuters. They know exactly how to get out.
Who would you rather face in the final if we got that far and we could get past West Bromwich Albion? Who's the one team you want to take in the final? Who do you want to play? We've not beaten Norwich yet. We played them obviously twice in the league. Drew 4-4 with them at St Mary's. 1-1 on New Year's Day. They were so negative when we played against them as well. Yeah. Let's be honest. They were so negative. They chucked men behind the ball. It's probably the most negative home performance of any side I've seen us play against. Who would you rather play out of Norwich and Leeds?
Well, from a neutral perspective, they'd want to see Norwich, wouldn't they? I think for the amount of goals both sides conceded and scored over those two legs, I think the neutral would want to see. But I would have done anything to avoid Norwich. I really would. They're just a team that we seem to always struggle to play football against. And Leeds in a very weird, I don't want to be that guy, but we really did have their number this season. They couldn't figure us out at all. And Russell Martin changing up that tactic. You know for a fact that Leeds you go and watch it back for that first 10, 15 minutes. Leeds looked completely out of their depth because they just didn't. We seemed to have an extra 2 men everywhere. We just overloaded the pitch everywhere, and they just were like deer in headlights. It was crazy.
No, it was. It was crazy against them. What's your thoughts, Rods? Leeds head to Carrow Road to take on Norwich. Daniel Farke feeling a bit of pressure. He looked really animated at the weekend. He didn't look a happy man. He's going to need a response from his side, isn't he, in this one? How do you think they fare against Norwich over 2 legs?
I agree with Rusty. I think Norwich will get to the final. I think they'll be there. I think Leeds are so flat at the moment. There's no confidence. There's no oomph. There's no feeling of, "Oh, we can do this." So I think Norwich, with the form they're on at the moment, they're going to be up for this one. Do you know what I mean? They'll be fully pumped for this. So I can't see Leeds squeezing past them, unfortunately.
No, I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I don't know. I have this funny feeling about Leeds. I kind of almost going against both of you. I almost feel that Leeds may just bounce back in these playoffs. If they can get past Norwich, which would be some ask, I think probably going away in the first legs, in a way, it's an advantage to both Southampton. I think going away to West Brom and then Leeds going down to Carrow Road, because if you can get the result you need, keep it tight away and get them back to a packed house. Like they'll have a packed house on Thursday night at Ellen Road. St Mary's will be absolutely bouncing if we got something to play for when we take on West Brom on Friday night. To have those home legs, like, is the second game, I just think it favours Leeds. It favours us definitely in each of the ties. So it'd be interesting to see how it unravels. Guys, before you go,
us going away first favours us. I think Leeds going away first hinders them. I think Norwich are very good at home, and I think it's going to be a much tougher game for Leeds away than it is for us away. And I think Leeds could be chasing hard by the time they get home.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how it unravels. We're hopefully going to see that game before our games. It kicks off, I think, 12 o'clock. Ours is at 2:15. Back-to-back games on Sunday. By the time we play at St Mary's on Friday, that tie will be complete. So we know we're nose in the final who we could potentially face if we beat West Bromwich Albion. There's a big task ahead, guys. Before you go, I want to talk about a couple of rumblings around the summer transfer window. Sorry, now I've done a TikTok on it. So I've been doing a little transfer weekly show over on TikTok. So any of you that are tuning in that have not followed me on TikTok, give me a follow. I'm doing a video that goes out on a Tuesday and a Friday, just covering any rumours, any speculation, any news around potential transfers. And one story that did come out yesterday is that Tottenham Hotspur are looking to potentially re-sign Kyle Walker-Peters this summer if Southampton don't go back to the Premier League. I think it's a transfer that will probably going to happen even if we do go up. I just want to get your reaction on that, both of you. Rusty, thoughts on Kyle Walker-Peters and a potential exit from St Mary's this summer?
Thank you for your service, young man, and enjoy your future.
Been brilliant, yeah.
That would be much like none of us wanted to see James Ward-Prowse leave when James Ward-Prowse left, but every single one of us, everyone, and if anyone says any different, all said something along the lines of he's earned his move. However it's ended up for him there, he's earned his move. And KWP's done exactly the same. You could have I easily said that he would have been the first name out the door when we got relegated, just because of what he brings to any side. You could have thought he would have just jumped. He could have been playing European football, much like James Ward-Prowse did when he left, So I've no animosity. I'd love to keep him, of course, but no animosity towards the lad. He's definitely earned it, and I'd be happy for him. Maybe not Tottenham though.
Yeah, maybe not Tottenham. Rods, he's been brilliant, isn't he, Kyle Walker-Peters, for us. He stuck with us in a time of need. He could have easily really pushed a transfer in the summer. I'm sure there were clubs sniffing around him last summer. He's been brilliant this season, the Championship. He was in the team of the season as well. He was the right back of the season for the EFL Championship team. It's been class, hasn't he?
He's been absolutely wonderful for the club. He's been, like Rusty said, a true servant to the club over the years that we've had him. I would say the same. I would wish him just, good luck to him wherever his move is going to go. Like I said, I think it's a transfer that's going to happen regardless if we go up or down. We'd be sad to see him go. Arguably one of the best right backs in the league this season. It'd be a shame to see him go, but good luck to him.
Yeah, no, good luck to him. I think he's been absolutely outstanding. And the other story that come out, I think it was yesterday, it was all across social media, was around Flynn Downs. West Ham are going to part ways with their manager, David Moyes, in the summer. Going to be replaced by Julian Lopetegui, who was at Wolverhampton Wanderers a season or so ago. apparently they're going to take him back and give him the opportunity in pre-season to prove himself. That'd be a massive blow, whether we go up or we stay in the Championship. To lose Flynn Downs, he's been one of our best players this season by quite some way, hasn't he, really? He's up there with Walker Peters and Harwood Bellis, isn't he, Rusty? It'd be a massive blow to lose Flynn Downs.
He was my vote for player of the season. I thought he's been just superb. But the big ask was always going to be, whether promoted or not promoted, sometimes a player just shines a little bit brighter than the rest. And Flynn Downs has shown that this season. West Ham have struggled a lot this season because, ironically, losing Declan Rice has clearly been really hard for him. And mate, Flynn Downs looks every bit the player Declan Rice was when he was at West Ham. I think he's the absolute perfect fit. Let's just hope he goes back and has a terrible pre-season and Lopetegui says, "Off you go, mate."
Yeah, let's hope he eats something a bit rough over the summer. Rods, we spoke outside St Mary's post-match reaction many a times on my channel, and you've often mentioned him to me, Flynn Downs. He's been superb, hasn't he? Speak really highly of him, Rods, don't you? What's your thoughts on him?
I think he's been fantastic for us this season. Like I said, probably our best player, arguably our best player this season. The way he just controls that midfield, the way he can break an attack, stop an attack from the opposition, slow the play down if he needs to. He's just been fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and it would be a shame to lose him. Such a key player, and like I said, he'll boost West Ham. Going back there, do you know what I mean? He'll make West Ham fantastic as well. So
yeah, he's a brilliant player. We've never been able to replace him when he's not played. He's just not been able to find a replacement for him. So whatever happens, there'd be a bit of surgery needed in the summer. That's for sure. That's for another show. We can talk about transfers and what we need and what happens once we know what league we're in. We'll do a show on YouTube and we can go over all of it between us. But guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. You've been brilliant guests. We'll reconvene next week. I'll advertise it to anyone that's tuning in. We'll reconvene next week. I'll advertise it on my TikTok and my social media. But before the guys go, Rusty, there's people that have probably joined now that wouldn't have heard you at the top of the show. Where can people find you? Tell everybody what you do and what you're all about.
I make Southampton-based content over on TikTok at RustySFC. Still fairly new to the game, but very opinionated. Say things as I see them, and some people like it, a bit like Marmite, I suppose. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Make sure you go and follow him because Rusty's absolutely superb. He's one of us and he talks a lot of sense. Rods, let everybody know where can they find you. What are you all about?
Yeah, over on TikTok as well, based around Southampton content, match content, and score prediction content. So I do lives here and there on TikTok as well. If you want to get involved, follow me over there. I love the Marmite comment, Rusty. That was brilliant.
You're absolute
When
legend.
Martin said he talks a lot of sense, I thought he was just going to say talks a lot.
No, you took a lot of sense. You both do. They're both brilliant, and we get together and we do watch-alongs, which I'll try and do on YouTube as well for next season as well. I need to invest in a little bit more kit to bring it all to life, but we'll try and do some. We're always doing watch-alongs on TikTok. Make sure you go give us all a follow on TikTok, and obviously give me a follow here on YouTube as well. Really appreciate any sub that I pick up, guys. Thank you for joining me this Friday evening. Let's hope it's a great weekend. The sun is shining. We just need Saints not to ruin the weekend now and get the result we need. Guys, I'll see you next week.
See you later, mate.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much indeed. A massive shout out to the guys for coming on this evening. Hope you've enjoyed this stream on YouTube. First time I've done it for a fair while. It's something I want to do more. Any ideas you have for any shows, just put them in the comments box below. If you're watching on catch up, just jump a comment in the box below. Give me your score predictions also for the weekend as well. Put them in the comments box below. It's been a pleasure this evening. Have a great weekend and up the Saints.